Everybody? Well, actually, we're still good morning. I'd like to call the executive committee to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Samuelson.
Here.
Mr. Steingart.
Here.
Mrs. Labuda.
Here.
Ms. Vedder. Mr. Ruiz.
Here.
Mrs. Geiger.
Here.
Mrs. Edwards.
Here.
Mr. Benson.
Here.
Mr. Sorensen.
Okay, thank you. Very full agenda, so second. Okay, we'll start with Josh. Do you have anything? Okay. Sam, do you have anything to?
I do, but in the interest of time expedition, I'll do it as a written and send it out to everybody.
Okay, thank you. We do have vacancies. Before we get started, I have a couple of things that I would like to just announce. A couple of months ago, we put together a group of people to start studying casino impacts in Sullivan County. Put together sectors of the community that we thought would be affected or would be able to add to the conversation. Since that time, Mr. Sorensen has brought up the fact that he would like to participate with that. Mr. Ruiz did the same. So what I've decided to do is create a legislative subcommittee that will include Mr. Ruiz as the chairman, Mr. Steingart and Mr. Sorensen as vice chairman, and the following people will serve on this committee to study the impacts of the future casino gaming in Sullivan County by using some of the reports that have been done in the past, but also looking and bringing people in to have conversations to see what they may really be. From planning, we have Jill Wire. From the partnership, Mark Baez. From the Sullivan County Visitors Association, Roberta Lockwood. From the Sullivan County Chamber, Kathy Patty. Workforce Development, Laura Quigley.
Sorensen and Vedder.
From Bethel Woods, Darlene Fidun. From the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Mike Schiff. From Sullivan County Community College, Karen Hilgersom. Larry Thomas from BOCES, Gerard Galarno from Catskill Regional Medical Center, and Randy Parker from the Department of Social Services. Again, these people will meet and go over what are the potential impacts to Sullivan County over the next couple of years to bring forward a report for us to start working on those issues and how they will interact with the funding that may come from casinos and how we would move forward, moving the community as a cohesive group. The next meeting scheduled for that group is on March 10th, and I will leave it to Mr. Ruiz to decide where that meeting will take place and how it will be noticed. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed with that. I'm going to defer to Mr. Ruiz and how he wants to move forward with that committee.
So
Okay.
how do we make a request, because there's, applications, I heard that there's even 2 more applications that came in yesterday
2 more applications for what?
for entities that want to submit applications to the state. So,
Casino developers, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
so, I mean.
This really doesn't have anything to do with that, except that there may be some recommendations as far as how we support the projects, but how many casino developers come into play really doesn't impact this group. This group is going to be looking at our community and how we feel increased population and traffic and more people living in the community, those kinds of things, how we will be impacted as a community.
Well, I'd like to make a request that those meetings are open
Okay.
because of the impacts that it would have throughout the county, and I represent Liberty and Hurleyville. I want to be able to at least hear what's going on. It's the first time I even knew that that committee existed, so if I'd known, I would have made a request to be on it.
Okay.
Were there any initial goals that you set?
The initial goals were just making sure that we had all the people that we needed to have at the table. There were no specific goals set. Again, we're leaving that now that the group has been started, that they will now set their goals and move forward.
And the meeting is when?
The next meeting is March 10th.
And it will be here?
Again, it will be noticed by
Just
Jonathan.
I don't know, I apologize, but is Ed McAndrews on that list? Because since he's,
He is not,
Okay,
he could
I think he
be.
should be, that's.
Okay, if
'cause
that's a
he-
recommendation, that would be
talking
fine
about
with
the
me. Jonathan, do
infrastructure and
you
all that,
see
I
any
think
problem?
that-
Okay.
That should be up to Ed.
Ed?
Well, he's shaking his
Yes.
head at the doorway, so.
And so did you mention revenue piece also? Is that what I heard you say too?
Correct. It's how the community will interact with the revenue sources that come from casinos. You know, should we get one or two, they can visit all of those. They will also have the ability to call anybody into the group that they feel could be helpful in assessing some of these issues.
I think you should have a member of labor on that committee.
Yeah, we originally did invite labor, there was no response, we could try again.
I would, please. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Well, we'll circulate a list, and, some people we can just invite,
Exactly.
that we need to have there. Sure
So,
they'll
you-
come.
so you have a formal list of who is already on the committee. The committee will be meeting on March tenth,
Smoke it in your face.
probably here,
Yeah, I'll sit down and figure out where the most appropriate is to get everybody in.
and more names could be submitted to the committee, and the meeting will be an open meeting. Thank you.
So if there's
Because
a,
I wanna be on the
I'm sorry.
committee.
So-
What's that?
Go ahead.
Scott,
Okay.
I just had one more quick question. So if there's a revenue piece to it,
Mhm.
so no determination will be made as far as revenue goes until a report is submitted back? Is that the plan?
Well, there's no determinations on anything, it's only going to report back to us. Nobody can make a determination on how the funding gets spent, except for the county.
So it'll come before the county manager, the county treasurer?
Of course,
Oh,
yeah, it's coming back before this body.
okay.
It's a legislative subcommittee that will report back to this body. The second thing that I wanted to make an announcement on is we received 16 applications for IDA membership for the 2 seats that are available. We went through, everybody got a copy, the entire board got a copy of all of the resumes or letters. We, this week, voted to, everybody had the opportunity to submit 5 names out of the 16. We then chose the top 4, at which point now we will invite those 4 in for everybody to meet them, because some people are on the list that maybe some people don't know. So everybody will have the opportunity to meet everybody, to ask questions, and then we will make our selection from those 4. I wanted to get it done sooner than later because of the vacancies on the IDA board. But in the interest of getting it done and getting everybody to participate fully, we probably won't make the determination until the March meeting unless we hold a special meeting to do that. Cindy, yes?
So just, so we're interviewing 4 because they were the top
Top,
vote getters?
correct.
So that, were there top vote getters, or were these 4 all, somebody got more than another? Was there top vote getters out of the 4?
Those were the 4, the 4.
Those
so
are the
they were
4 top,
tied.
yeah.
And-
There
no,
were
it's-
3 tied.
She's asking if
There
one
was-
had more votes than the
Yes,
other.
Yes,
I
one
understand the
did.
question. One
Okay,
did.
so one
One
so
did.
one basically is in, and then you interview 3?
Well, no, that's not necessarily true, because I think we're gonna interview them all, and then we'll make our decision from the 4, because it doesn't really matter how many they got, they were the top vote getters, because I don't know that everybody knows who they are. So, everybody needs the opportunity to meet these people
Right, right.
personally and ask
Right,
questions
but I
and
know
go
you
from
had
there.
sent the email, the top vote getter would be,
Would come back for an interview.
okay, whatever. Okay, so there was one that had more votes than the other 4,
Correct.
Just one.
Yep.
By one.
and 3 were tied, obviously.
Yep. Okay, so those,
Wouldn't it make sense that, since one had the most votes and 3 were tied, to have the one with the most votes be automatically one of the submitted names and the other 3 be
I'd like to interview
interviewed?
them.
yeah,
I'd
I
like to
think
interview 'em.
everybody needs to meet
Yeah.
them and interview them, and then make the decision from that interview.
Well, that's one point. I also believe that all 9 of us should be in the room at the same time. So all the cards are on the table, so there's no he said, she said.
So that will, we'll set up a meeting and put out invitations to those 4 people to come back and interview.
Thank you.
Okay. Our favorite part of the executive committee meeting, vacancies. What's that?
No, they don't.
No.
They
No.
won't leave.
Okay. First on the the list is from probation, from Jeff Molinelli, part-time clerk database, account clerk and database. Salaries $9,000, total cost $11,070, county share is full. Any questions? Is Jeff here?
Yeah.
Questions, okay.
Actually, I asked if you wouldn't mind just explaining, because it is good for all the legislators to hear about how you're moving through the backlogs.
Okay. For the part-time clerk, we've had issues with appropriate and timely entry of court orders, and also with data entry for our electronic supervision and caseload files. It's sort of like having a car without a starter. It really slows things up, the process. And previously we had, in our secretarial pool, we had 5 clerks. Right now we're down to 1 and 1 part-time, 1 full-time and 1 part-time. And this should, like I said, alleviate the backlog that's occurring with court orders, which is in turn having issues with the process of individuals that are waiting sentencing before the court.
Are the judge giving you a hard time, Jeff? Is that a problem with the judges, or just this way the system is?
The judges have been very accommodating. They
Thank
realize-
you.
Good answer.
Just wanna make sure.
The best judge is right up.
Careful where you walk.
Any other questions or concerns on this vacancy? All in
No.
favor? Any opposed?
9-zip.
Okay, next up, another probation trainee. Jeff, anything?
And that position is going to be dedicated to write the pre-sentence reports. Right now, probation is sort of a bottleneck between the DA's office and the court. When individuals are sentenced, in the past, it's taken anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for probation to prepare for the courts, and now it's anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. So that should basically streamline the process. And it also alleviates, because we don't have enough staff right now, we're farming out the pre-sentence reports to other officers that are based for supervision, so it's basically holding up in the office instead of having out in the field.
This is the position that was budgeted in the 14 budget.
That's correct, it's a budget, yeah.
In this position, if this position goes forward, how does that impact upon them being on probation, them being out of the county jail, moving on to the state jail? How does this impact?
Well, for example, as I mentioned, there's a bottleneck. A person is, the DA prosecutes, there's a plea entered, or there's an adjudication, they await sentencing. And sentencing is determination whether they're gonna be placed on probation, possibly moved on to docks as a state prison sentence. So that time frame in the middle there is now anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. Previously, it was 4 to 6 weeks, so it allows people that are incarcerated to move through the system a lot quicker. There would be obviously a savings for the county with that.
So it would free up maybe some people in the jail, because they're either
absolutely.
going into probation or they're going on.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I just want you to, while you have the opportunity to have all legislators here in the same room, how close are we now back to your minimum staffing levels?
I feel that this is the minimum staff levels the department should have. It allows it to function efficiently. We're still down 1 probation officer that we would have had in years past, but like I said, right now, there's certain efficiencies with the video conferencing. There's also certain efficiencies with electronic caseload programs that we have that doesn't make it undue burden.
There's still some people that have up to 70 cases per caseload.
There are individuals that have that, but we're working right now, and with the addition of this officer, that alleviates some of the burden also.
Because I just want to remind everyone that the norm is, well, quote-unquote norm is like 50.
Well, the state doesn't have a recommended caseload amount. The reason they don't want to do that is because then they would have to provide extra funding. But realistically, having supervised before, 16 billion years ago when I was in the field, 50 is adequate caseload, is a caseload that can handle pretty, you know, things don't go awry, things don't get unraveled. As you start approaching 70, 80, which we do have a couple of officers with that, it really becomes a handful.
And it's also the clientele, you know, and so I just wanna.
Well, nobody's a Girl Scout.
Yeah, so I just wanna thank you all for.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Mine's it.
Thank you. In the Department of Community Services, from Joe Todoro, we have a assistant social worker. It was vacated, position vacated in March of last year. County share, 33,000. Any questions or concerns on here?
Again, another question, if I may. How does this impact with the?
Joe's over here.
I'm over here.
I
moved a little.
Either that or somebody's a chameleon.
Some things were going to be downsized within mental health.
Yes.
So if we're
This is-
downsizing, why are we putting another body in
This
there?
is a vacancy in our case management unit, not the positions that were targeted for downsizing once those people leave. So there are 4 positions that we're currently looking at that are currently working in that private not-for-profit doing the personal recovery oriented services program. Those 4 positions, once vacant, we will attrit. We will no longer bring those 4 positions back. This is within the case management unit. The case management unit is a separate unit, and the case management unit basically provides services to people with serious mental illness. They try to connect them to both medical and behavioral health as well as social service activities that will help them in terms of establishing their recovery and wellness in our community. So that's their care. This specific position, actually, it's all our probation officer departments because he stole this person from me. But this particular person actually is our crisis adult worker, who, when there's an issue in our community where we may not know this individual, the person may not be connected to services in our community, this is the individual in this position that we use to go ahead and engage that person in services at that point in time. So.
But as you were shrinking the mental health, state's shrinking its budget, Fed is shrinking its budget, you're shrinking the amount that you're dealing with, and yet we're putting another.
Well, no, actually what's being shrunk is the state-operated services. The actual behavioral health field is going to expand over some time because of the Affordable Care Act and the Medicaid redesign plans of the state.
So you get more reimbursement?
But, so I'm just saying that community behavioral health is going to grow over the next 5 to 10 years.
Including its funding?
The funding's gonna be different. Actually, if you look at the gross funding, it's gonna expand. But if you look at, your per unit of service payments, that's gonna drop a little bit, which means that we will have to do more with less. We will have to, be much more efficient. And I'm saying we in terms of community-based behavioral health providers, not just me and the mouse in my pocket. So everybody's gonna have to work better, more efficient, and we're gonna have to have more qualitative outcomes in order for us to be able to continue to participate.
And at the present time, this position, you have how many of your staff have this type of position?
That title, I believe I have 6 people with that title.
Okay, so you're looking to make 7?
No, this is one of those 6. This is a vacant, this is one of those 6.
And you serve a community of?
Each person has a caseload of anywhere between 40 and 50.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you really have a mouse in your pocket?
Yes, I do.
It's so amazing. Kathy?
No, I'm just raising this.
Oh, you want to be
voting,
ready to
yeah.
go? Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed?
Mine's
Okay, thank you.
Mine's it.
Okay, Public Health Services, Nancy is here. This is for a senior nutrition assistant.
No county share.
No county share.
Yes,
Yes.
All in favor? Okay.
she needs it anyway.
Okay, now we have a series from DFS. Randy is here. Do we need to do all of these separately, I guess? I Yes.
There's nine positions, 5 are due to retirement. 2 were due to the folks arrested in November, and 2 are vacant.
Do we wanna go through each one of them individually, or?
They're all budgeted, aren't they?
They're all budgeted.
If they're all budgeted, I don't see the reason to go through them all
Okay,
individually.
vacancy 6 through vacancy 13.
Okay, all in,
The
Tara?
only question I have, which is just mostly a budgetary question, is, I don't understand how come they're all fragmented out on different line items. It's not like they're all in, can you just explain the logic behind all that?
Can you give me one as an
Yeah.
example? What number?
There. So each time they're spread across all these different, is that because of the different sort
It's gonna
of
be the
federal or
different-
state revenue
Cora,
lines?
hold on one second, Janet has an answer.
Really just salaries, benefits, and then revenues.
And that's whether it's federal or state or county revenue? Okay, good, thanks.
And they're all budgeted, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, all in favor?
9 zip.
Opposed, okay, next up, we have Office of the Aging, is Deborah here? I don't see her, but, there's a $4,000 county share, it's a nutrition site operator. There's a vacancy as of the 7th of this month. Any questions or
No,
anybody?
you have to have,
Deborah is not here, so I don't know how you wanna handle this. Go ahead, you can ask a question, but I don't know if you'll get an answer.
Okay.
Maybe Randy or
Total
somebody
cost,
can-
there was a 9,000, went up to 10,000. Why is these things crossed out and changed?
Janet, do you have any?
There was a
Correct.
correction, they failed to put the retirement in. So I called Debbie, and she just wanted me to.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
Well,
in
it
the
was
past, you've
answered.
asked for the director or department head to be here for vacancies, so if we wanna wait
Maybe we
until.
want to table it.
no, she's, but in the nutrition site, you have to have somebody working at the sites for the seniors who get lunches
I
that
think
they need.
if everybody is agreeable
Yeah.
to it, I think we can do it. So is everybody in favor?
Yeah, I'm fine with
Any
it.
opposed?
9 zip.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Randy. Workforce Development, Laura Quigley, Employment and Training Specialist,
County share 0.
County Share 0. All in favor?
9 zip.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. That's it. Okay, great. 2 resolutions. First one. Establish an updated salary schedule for certain division of Public Works part-time and seasonal positions.
Move it. Jonathan Jean.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed?
9 zip.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, amend resolution number 18713 to change state agency administering the grant.
This is the one that Art Hussey mentioned in management and budget. Alan,
Okay, Jonathan. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
9 zip.
Okay. Number 3, create a permanent full-time account clerk database position for the early care program. Motion?
I'll move it.
Jean,
Jean.
second.
This is
Jonathan,
This is-
discussion?
mandating.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Was this a position that was part-time going full-time?
No, this has been a temporary full-time position since August.
Temporary full-time, yes. So we're making it permanent. Is there one that was going from part-time to full-time?
Not any, no.
Okay.
So is this a 0 county share position, or this is?
No, it's
I don't know
not.
if-
However,
Because
the
it's not
EI,
filled out here.
the EI staff has, over the years, has gone from 7 to 5 as a result of cuts. And as a result of, you may remember the Medicaid billing project that we had to do this last fall in order to make sure that we ended up claiming all the Medicaid revenue we possibly could for back school years. And as a result of creating the temporary account clerk, back in August, we were able to do that, and we brought in almost $250,000 in Medicaid revenue as a result. Now, going forward, we still have a tremendous amount of work, and we really do need this position to make sure that we stay on top of things and make sure all the data is entered. They're dealing with 3 different software systems between the preschool program and the early intervention program. So this position is really needed. I did put it in the budget as a request for 2014, but it was not funded, so I'm asking for it to be funded. And I believe that the revenue we bring in will more than offset the cost.
So the revenue is what's covering the salary?
Yes.
In this resolution?
Or, out of that 250, were we able to recoup 100% of what hadn't been reimbursed before?
99.5.
That's a good, so that means that there's no more
good return rate.
outstanding.
Not in the back, no, now we're dealing with 2013 current,
Yeah.
right, moving forward.
Hit the other point five.
Okay, any further question or discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
9-0.
Okay, thank you. Number 4, authorize Sullivan County Community College to request funds from the State University of New York Community College Capital Program Fund.
Move it.
Second, Jean. Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Number 5 is accept the recommendations of the Sullivan County Solid Waste Recycling Fee Grievance Committee. Motion? Jonathan, second.
I'll second.
Jean, second. Questions, discussion?
Yeah, where's Nancy?
She was right there.
All right, never mind, I'll ask her offline.
Okay. All in favor?
Wait, can I ask a question? The recommendations are to keep with this fee? Is
No.
that-
No, it's got nothing to do with.
No, it has nothing to
Okay.
do with
These were
that.
individual grievance determinations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
9-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The 6, 7, and 8, the CAFs were handed out separately. You have those in a separate package, for your details on each of these resolutions. Okay, so the first one is to amend an agreement with, these are all for the interoperability.
Radio project.
Right, the radio project, okay? So the first one is to amend an agreement with the Chazen companies. So, motion,
I'll make a
Jonathan, second Kathy.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
To amend it,
Mm-hmm.
You remember those? Yes, I do.
Cindy, there was a tower site that we were formerly anticipating we would share with Orange County over the border. We have since determined that it makes more sense to build it on our side of the border. So this firm is doing the secret process, and we didn't have them do a secret on a site we weren't originally gonna build on. Now that we are gonna build, we have to go and have them do the secret.
well,
So-
I was aware of that, but I wasn't aware that there was additional funds connected to it.
Well, yeah, they did sites, they did a general seeker and site-specific seekers. Now that we're adding additional work onto the vendor to complete a secret site that they hadn't, we and they hadn't contemplated originally.
Is this that first, like, amend to increase expenditures for the project? Is this the first one? I don't remember if there were others. For the radio project.
Take care of the,
Well, I don't know that this one by itself is gonna
Any additional requests?
force us to go above the budgeted cost of the overall project. I think this is something we can move money around and accommodate it.
That's correct,
What's
this is not an addition, we're not raising the cost of the project, this was figured into the original project.
Oh, factored in.
It would've been
Correct.
savings if we didn't need to use it.
We were trying to save, I guess hindsight, we probably should have budgeted it with the original Chazen contract, but we were trying to save it if we could, as Josh said, so. But we do need them to complete the seeker on the Knights Eddy site. And also, the funding for this comes from the microwave relocation revenue we generated two years ago. So it's revenue that we had gotten from Verizon Wireless and T-Mobile for relocation, so.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed?
9-0.
Okay, the second one, number 7, is authorized contract with Mid-State Communications and Electronics Incorporated.
Motion.
Jean, second.
I'll second it.
Ira, well, actually Ira did. Any discussion on this one?
Is that what you expected to see?
For numbers?
Yeah.
A little bit high because of the winter construction, but it is gonna be covered in the round one grant. So it's still within the budget of the grant,
Okay, grant funds, okay.
correct.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
Mine's it.
Okay, number 8, reaffirm the negative declaration for the radio upgrade project.
Move it.
Kathy,
Kathy.
second Alan. Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment that I really appreciate the level of due diligence that the Radio Interoperability Committee is doing on this. This was based on public input from an engineer, you know, in response to that, so I really want to thank them for going that extra mile.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank
Mine's
you.
it.
Okay, number 9, adjust salaries of assistant district attorneys. Motion, Jonathan, second. Second? I'll second, okay. Discussion?
I just wanna, it seems that
This is
we're
the list.
decreasing their
No,
salaries?
there's the, no, they're increasing, there's the list in front of you, Kitty.
Based on the requirements, isn't that savings?
Some are getting raises, right, and some,
So this back page of 9 where it says decrease, 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 is not?
It's decreasing the salary of the position, but increasing the salary of the person, because the people are moving to new positions.
There was
Getting raises.
an assistant DA that retired.
There's
so
two
there-
things, the budgeted position salary levels are changing, and the actual people in the positions are changing, I think is what Janet was
and
trying
they
to say.
get, but they get raises, some of them, right?
Yeah, on the other sheet, you can kinda see
Now, will they
where
get the
people-
752, or
I believe they would have already
did
gotten.
they get the 752?
Only one is getting an increase, all the rest are increased.
No,
No,
he
no,
just
no.
said that's not
There's a
the
sheet right in
case.
front of you, Cora.
For the,
Cora, you need this sheet.
Am I looking at the wrong one?
Yeah, there's an addendum,
Oh,
Cora,
sorry.
there's a separate
Yeah,
sheet.
I'm looking at
The resolution just addresses the positions, he at the same time, changing the budget position amounts is gonna be moving people around within the office into different positions.
So what's the net increase?
Net decrease of $16,000.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he's not, the overall budget is going, he's not increasing the salary lines of the budget, he's moving the budgeted figure for positions and moving the people within position up. with-
so
to different
however we're looking at it, we're saying the DA's office is gonna have a decrease in personnel services line in the total of 19.
In the budget.
In the budget, right.
Even though the individuals
Yeah.
might be
Raises.
getting a
A
raise.
raise,
Correct.
correct, the position
Okay.
and the person are two different things.
I
in
really
this
don't care
instance.
who gets the raise, I wanna know that we're not paying more for their budget, and that's what you're telling me,
That's what we're telling you.
okay.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed?
Mine's it.
Thank you. Number 10, authorizing the issuance of an additional $750,000 bonds to pay the cost of the reconstruction of the Sullivan County Adult Care Center.
Second.
Second, Kathy. Any discussion? All in,
Cindy, you have a
there's
question?
question?
It's behind you.
It's behind you.
Hi, Ed. You can leave after this.
If you leave, we'll appoint you to another
Is there a
committee.
question?
I just want him to clear it in my mind. It's not additional funds. It's work that had to be done on the roof that we already approved, and the showers and bathrooms, right?
Correct.
And the bond itself would be, is that a long-term bond? What is?
The resolution authorizes up to 25 years, but, so you have the ability to go to 25 years, you could do something shorter than that if the board chooses to, but we probably, I don't know if we formally decide if it's gonna be issued as I think as a ban, was, if I recall, it'd be issued as a short-term note for the initial year.
So this is an addition, this is gonna be part of our March.
This would be, I'm almost positive, this would be a short-term note for a year, that's a
I
ban.
think Ira had said 5-year,
Yeah, that's a ban, can go up to 5 years, but you'd have the ability during those 5 years to convert it to long-term if you so choose to.
But this,
And the reason this isn't coming out of that typical 4 million and 2 million,
Well, if you recall last summer, when we realized that there were other issues associated with the Hill grant, the board gave authority for us to use that $1 million bond.
and this is it?
Sam?
Well, what has happened is we went back to bond council and they advised us that you can't really use that old bond because the old bond resolution referenced the grant and us repaying the grant with that money. So they felt it was clearer that we go and pass another bond resolution. But this is would be what you had authorized. It's a smaller amount, but it's what you authorized last summer.
Okay,
So but we authorized $1.1 million,
Yeah.
right?
to repay.
I talked to
the
Ed,
grant.
and he felt all that he could really potentially get accomplished is the roof and showers this year, so there's no point in borrowing for additional if we can't get the work done this year.
So this is less than what we originally approved.
This would be the roof
Correct.
and the showers.
We approved 1.1, but now it's 1.8.
750.
No, it's 750.
No, I mean the total, in total, right?
No,
The HEAL grant.
the grant was about 1.1.
Right, we
The
paid that
total
back.
project.
We've drawn that down and
Right.
paid that back. So you start, the HEAL grant's done in essence. Now this would be what you,
This is brand new.
750 is part of the 1.1 you had authorized last summer.
And have we gotten the HEAL grant reimbursement money from you?
Yes, the paid bond.
So we're clear on that, it's zero.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually have
We don't have
cash, the 100% of the
Yeah,
cash
but
back
that's-
yet, but, because we've made periodic drawdowns, I don't know that we've gotten 100% yet, I have to check, but, yeah, we may have, I just don't know for a fact that we've gotten 100% of it. But we will be getting it.
Ahead of it by
We're on target.
bonding less than what we originally said.
Right. Kitty, did you have your hand up or no? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Mine's it.
Number 11, authorize acceptance of a donation to Public Health Services for the Cribs for Kids program.
Motion.
Jean, second. Kitty, discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Mine's it.
Okay. Number 12, enact local law number 1 of 2014 regarding best value option in regard to purchases. Motion Kitty, second Kathy. Discussion?
The
All in-
only thing that we have is that, you know, according to what Kathy Jones said, is that we're gonna try it out and then refine it. So, you know, is there gonna be incurred costs in having to change the local law once we see whether it works or not? That's the only outstanding question I have.
One of the things we said is we're doing a basic local law that complies with the state enabling legislation.
Okay,
The detail in terms of procedure and things of that sort are going to be put into a
Yeah.
revised procurement manual.
and that gives us more
And that
flexibility.
gives you total flexibility, you don't have to go through public hearings or redraft the local law, that's why we did it that way. That's why Cheryl proposed that we do it that way.
Okay.
So Cheryl,
your answer to your question?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was
so
the case.
Sam, Cheryl is preparing that, information for
Cheryl
the-
and Jack and Kathy Jones are presently working on a revision to the procurement manual that will incorporate the procedures and things of that sort.
the ones that we addressed with her.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
On an appeal for me.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Mine's it.
Number 13, authorize issuance of RFP to evaluate the structural and environmental condition of 2 county-owned buildings.
Move it.
Motion Kathy, second Alan. Any discussion? Cora? Hold on.
It's not gonna come as a surprise to anybody when I say I'd like to see the not to exceed order on this.
Well, this is just authorizing the RFP, we would have to come back to the
We don't have
board with
any
a
numbers.
resolution to enter into a contract. So this just is just letting us
Are we
spend
looking at
staff
something
time.
that's gonna be more than 20 grand?
It is possible.
Okay.
It's hard to
Depends on
tell,
what
we're
they
not
find.
overly familiar, we in essence need an asbestos expert to come in and tell us what, if there's asbestos present or not, and what remediation
not.
plans you would have.
Like I said,
What
with
buildings?
with the
It's
other,
it's the Frankel Hardware Building on Main Street in Liberty, and then there's a building, a residential house that
That
we have
burned.
foreclosed on that had
St. John
burned,
and
that's had
Bedford. St. John.
some incidents in it in the past few months.
I
several
think
months.
it's probably too, you know, if we do go for any Department of Labor asbestos remediation funding, it'd probably be too late to recoup any RFP, because that's expended prior to the, you know, execution of a grant, but I would like to see at some point when we do this, that we have a not to exceed order, so it doesn't get,
Well, yeah, depending on how the RFPs come back, you would have a specific number in the resolution
yeah,
at some point.
and then we could hunt for that grant funding.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
Mine's it.
Okay, thank you. Is this just a duplicate?
14.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 14, appoint Freda Eisenberg, AICP, Commissioner of Planning and Environmental Management.
Motion.
Alan, motion.
Second.
Second, Jean. Discussion? All in favor?
Oh, I just wanted to.
Mine's
Second.
it.
Opposed?
A baseline
Who's a-
salary,
135 is including all of it.
92 baseline salary, no, let me see.
Slightly less than what's budgeted currently.
It was advertised for 85 and 90, wasn't it, Josh? Surprised she's coming.
Okay.
We wanted a planner.
Next, we have a series of handouts. It's the larger package that you have, stapled package.
From
These
Joe, old Joe.
These are all Joe
Joe's
Todaro.
Joe, come on.
All,
one
every one of
day.
them. The guy with the mouse in his
Just give roll
pocket.
call here. You don't have to vote here.
Put the mouse in a mousetrap.
I think we could do them all together, but maybe you can give some explanation,
Yeah,
Joe.
if it's okay, what I've done is I've taken the contracts that we have, which are state aid dollar pass-throughs from both the Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services, the Office of Mental Health, and the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, and those contracts are here. The reason why we're bringing them today to you is because by the time, if we were going to look at doing them in March, we probably would not be able to meet their advance
They need
for
the
the
money.
second quarter. So it's really about timing. These are dollars that, the state gives us to fund these actual activities through all of these. There is one difference here from last year, and that difference is our contract with the Council on Alcoholism or the Recovery Center. There's an increase in state aid to them through the county of about $248,000. That $248,000 was a direct grant that the state gave to the Recovery Center in the past. They've asked it to flow through us first. The other thing that they've asked us to do with that $248,000, which is all for prevention funding, is to go ahead and bid that out, RFP it in the fall.
I have a question for Sam. I sit on the Recovery Center board in Monticello, Sam, so would I have to recuse myself since we're voting on the,
Money for the recovery.
That's
Yes.
that's the one for the Recovery Center.
so should I recuse myself? Okay, so I'm gonna, okay, when we vote, I'll recuse myself because I said.
From the recovery
Just for the,
center.
which,
fund.
whatever number that
Okay.
is, you'll keep track of it.
And, just question regarding, since daytops are closed, how is that gonna be impacting all of these things?
Daytop won't really have a local impact on us. Daytop, actually, most of their work that they've done for us up here has actually been contract work with the justice system out of New York City. So they had lots of contracts for chemical dependency treatment, long-term chemical dependency treatment for parole and probation and the other functions down in New York City. We did have the ability to have local folks go to the Daytop program, but typically what traditionally we would do with folks who are seeking that type of long-term treatment is we try to get them out of their environment, so you don't wanna keep local people local. Bad, familiar places, bad things, that type of thing.
But now, the people at Daytop who were there
Uh-huh.
for a length of time,
Right.
are they back in New York City or
Yes.
wherever, or they're now on our rolls here?
No, they went to other facilities.
They've gone back, they've actually gone to other Daytop facilities,
Right.
or they've been brought back to New York in their locality. They're not here.
So, sorry,
But we
Laura?
did lose quite a few jobs.
Joe, who oversees the contracts are met, the specifications, it's your sole
Our office,
responsibility?
yes.
We need a motion.
How many
and a
people do you have?
second.
It's myself, my FAO, my deputy director, and my administrative assistant.
Okay, because this is a big shift, isn't it?
Did we get an administrative fee out of this?
No,
No, I was just curious.
no, we don't. We've been monitoring it right along.
Okay.
It's just that the money never really kind of passed through us. But we have seen the consolidated
Yeah,
fiscal
I think you did
reports, we
first.
have seen program reports that are put into what's called the Paris the electronic system. So we've been monitoring it, it's just that, we're basically handling the money now.
Okay, I think we
So
need
sti-
a motion. Well, let's go to a motion and then we'll do more discussion. Cora and Jonathan?
If you took all those together, the total should be somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.5 million.
And so.
And I'm approximating for you, because I didn't add it all up.
$2.5 million, and the county share is?
Zero.
Okay.
It's amazing how quickly your attitude changes.
It's an important piece.
Well, it's important for folks to know that, you know, we do get a couple of $1 million to be able to, you know, help in terms of providing services to people with disabilities. So that's all state aid. And then there's an additional amount of money that gets drawn down in terms of the Medicaidable programs that they provide too.
Okay. And he's done.
And he's done with my.
First of all, I just want to make a quick mention. These are in executive. There was a misunderstanding about them earlier for Health and Family Services, so with permission, we put them in this committee. So all in favor? And we will make note that Mrs.
With
Labuda
exception of
is
like-
recusing herself
From the recovery center,
from the
one,
recovery
Oasis
countries.
one.
Right.
Okay. Opposed?
Mine's it.
Okay. Thank you.
8 on the 1.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
I got that already, look, see?
Just checking.
All right, we have public comment? Ken?
Yes, I have a problem with the
I wanna
salary
get this
that you're
done.
offering for
Well, yeah,
lifeguard.
you have to let them know.
I think it's undervalued. A lifeguard has to go through a vigorous program through Red Cross, and has to pass different steps, and in the end has to pass the lifeguard part plus the CPR part. And at the same time, they got tremendous responsibility when they're on the waterfront. And I think that $9.50 is way under what it should be, and closer to 12, considering that the park manager gets $15.50, and I have no idea what requirements they have. But I think you're the person that's on the hook, and they're under a tremendous amount of responsibility, watching who's ever in the water. Hopefully nothing happens, and, you know, I don't think you're paying them a decent wage.
Thank you.
I just wanted to speak towards the solid waste fee.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second, just to let everybody know, we're going to ask for an executive session as soon as we're done with public comment, just so don't run out of the room. Okay.
I just wanted to speak towards the solid waste fee. I know you approved the appeals board recommendations. One of the appeals was our appeal for the monastery, which was, our appeal was denied, and the solid waste fee was kept in place. Even though the solid waste fee, like I said, in the complaint for foreclosure is called a tax, and we're a tax exempt organization. And when we answered the complaint, we did put in a counterclaim, which was never answered by the county, so you guys are in default right now, which not only brings that issue up, but also asks for class certification for everybody who's in the same class. Now, if our appeal was just overturned, it's $300. All of that would go away. It's not a fee, it's a tax. And as much as you want to call it a fee, it's not a fee. And in your foreclosure complaint, you called it a tax, you didn't call it a fee. And on the statement that went out, you called it a tax, you didn't call it a fee. So we're just asking to revisit that. Our appeal, I really, you know, for all practical purposes, is $300 of a tax, which we never had to pay before. We don't have any solid waste. We don't use public dumps. We don't have any, we don't produce anything that's not biodegradable. Everything is disposed at the property that the monastery is located on. And we're just asking for that to be revisited, as well as asking that the fee be called what it is. Either call it a tax or make it a real solid waste, applied as a solid waste fee, which each corporation or tax exempt organization.
Can we have one conversation? There's a public comment. Thank you.
Each corporation that's, even if they're tax exempt, if they utilize the public waste facilities, we'll let them pay a fee for that when they enter the public waste facility and dispose of their waste. But if you're not disposing of any waste, I think we look at it as an unfair way of calling an apple an orange. You're calling something a fee when it's a tax, and you're only calling it a fee so they can get around the religious exemption that we have.
Thank you.
And I have again one reminder, try to protect Sullivan County local people. This is important. Try to take it from DC money, road department. If you want it, this is #1 security system. Oh, we not drive Sullivan County people road, use it everybody, all state. Take it from DC money. Why you take it from Sullivan County money?
You unlimited get from this money, from road, from bridge, from everything, you know. And right now gambling, you allowed gambling, okay. Just, but what he do, suck all money from some country. Just tax it, maximum, what you possible. All this, Walmart, Staples, Home Depot, he kill all local business, okay. Just tax it him. And then try to growing for local people, protect local people, and help local, and you local people. Let's go unite together. This is good right now, you make a movie. Put in internet, this movie, everybody knows what you do. And we need unite together, not divide and conquer, you know, this is not right, you know. We need work together and help each other, you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Motion to go into executive, and this is to discuss a personnel issue. And we do have one legal matter, a very quick update on a legal matter as well. So, motion, Jonathan, second.
Everybody
Has a handout resolution in front of them.
I
It is
don't.
it is a resolution, now you do.
Be nice.
It is a resolution to appoint Linda Levine as the
Resource.
Director of Human Resources and Personnel Officer.
Move it.
Second, Jonathan. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
8-1,
No.
8-1.
Okay.
I was
Well,
thinking, Cindy, I didn't see your hand.
what's your vote?
A question mark?
There has to be a vote one way or another, otherwise you abstain.
Absolutely.
You absolutely what?
Too many questions.
So you're a no?
So you know, yep, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
it's 7-2.
7-2.
Yep.
Yeah, 1:50 is our next meeting. How's that pizza?
Okay, motion to adjourn. Ira, second Jonathan, all in favor? Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll see you in